someone tried to buy my business, and this is the business that's doing $1.5 million in revenue a year, and the one that I've been building for over 3 years now. The number they gave me for the business, for the whole thing, was super low. And at the time I was really shocked, but that's because I didn't understand the things that you have to do to create value in your brands, to create equity and a business that honestly people actually want to own. And that's exactly what I'm going to explain to you today, how to maximize your value so that one day you can exit for millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions, hopefully. And I'm going to break down now the example of GRUNS, a supplement business that just got acquired for 1.2 billion. Even from their inception, they understood that product matters the most, because not only that's going to make you stand out, what they were able to do is they were able to understand how they could maximize their lifetime value. So people keep coming back, they keep buying new products. And the second thing is they built a profitable CAC engine, so customer acquisition engine. When you parallel these two things, that really makes equity explosions. You keep acquiring new customers at a profitable rate, and on the other side, each of these customers, not only they're profitable, but their lifetime value is a lot. So they're going to keep buying from you, and that makes sure that every client you have is worth a lot of money. That is one of the things that matters the most in this business, because it's not only about acquiring one customer, but it's how much that customer is worth to your brand over a lifetime. That's what you got to look at. When you look at their websites, you see that they sell supplements, but they sell not only a lot of supplements, but in new niches that they started. Their products really stick out in the ads and in the shelves, and that's going to be very important to differentiate from competition. And the LTV is really essential. They sell consumables, they sell supplements, which everyone tries to sell. And why is that? It's because the business is great, because you acquired a customer and they just keep repeating purchases from you every single month or whatever that is. And then your financial tools are much better, because when you know a customer on average is going to stay with you for 6-12 months, that means that in your sale, even though the subscription, let's say it's $30 and your product costs 10, that doesn't mean that the price you must pay is $20 or less to break even or be profitable. No, because you know that the customer is going to stay with you for 6 months. That means that they're going to, for 6 months, spend $30. And that means the lifetime value is 180. And that allows you to have higher cost per acquisitions, which is going to allow you to overcome competition and really get those audiences and those customers at a more expensive rate, but still profitable, because the fundamentals are there. So when I compare how my brand was set up to how their brand was set up, there's a stark difference. And the thing is, an acquirer doesn't care how much money you went through, and they care about how much it cost you to get the customer there, and if they're gonna still be there when you're gone. I was 100% dependent on paid ads, so that if you turn the ads off, then you'd have no clients and the business would just simply shut down and be worth zero the moment you stopped ads. And that's obviously not what an acquirer is looking for. So there are 5 pillars that you need to understand and start implementing immediately, so that all together they're going to explode and make sure that your business really has the valuation it deserves. The first thing is having a low CAC, low cost acquisition per customer. The way you can get that is by having a different product. So product differentiation. This guy's in the supplement niche, but he wasn't selling any powders that was like very common at the time. He was selling a gummy. So not only the product itself was different and really sticks out, not only in the shelves, but in the ad space when you're scrolling. When you implement the product design with the things that he was going after, so the pain points, those two combined were very different. And that really made sure that the cost is lower, because people perceived it as different and it's in its own niche, so a more unique space. Second pillar is, again, high LTV. So is the customer going to keep coming back to you and choosing your brand over and over again? And that's where your niche really sets you apart. Areas like clothing or supplements, so consumables, that's going to make sure that the customer keeps coming back. And so usually those businesses are worth more than other traditional businesses. And this guy chose consumables, he chose supplements, which is something that people take every day. They're going to keep taking for months. It is important to decide which brand you're going with, because you have to put in a lot of trust. And if you can build that trust with the customer, they're more likely to stay with you and not try other options, as long as, of course, the product is working. The third pillar is uniqueness. So the wow factor, and how difficult is it to replicate your business. And just like I was saying, supplements are kind of hard to replicate because it's a lot about not only your positioning, but then the trust that you're able to garner with the viewer. It's not something that's very commoditized. Like, it's not like an airbrush or something that you can buy from whichever supplier, and it's not really worth it because it only serves the utility points. That's really gonna make sure that you stick out, and obviously your brand name, your brand value is worth more and translates into actual equity. The fourth pillar is understanding the financials of the business and the client acquisition and the LTV as well. So it's putting all those things together to understand exactly where you can pull levers, how much you can spend, how your cash flow is going. And even though those things are more technical, and I'm speaking on more of a theoretical and broad general sense, if you can understand how much your client is going to generate to you, that's going to allow you to, like I said before, have an higher customer acquisition cost, because you know that they're going to be profitable eventually. And so even though it looks like you're losing money on the front side of things in the beginning, overall on the long term, it's going to work out. And it's really how these brands can scale so aggressively in the beginning, even if it seems like at a loss at first. Further along the road, they're going to turn profitable eventually. And understanding how these things work is really important in your business. You have to be very aware of the financials in the position your business is at. And the final thing, it's about the structure of the business and the ways that you work and do things. So the systems you have, the SOPs, how things are set up, is everything like very well organized and understandable, so that someone stepping in from the outside can in a day or two understand everything that's going on, get an overview, and keep working in those branches, in the teams. And if everything is organized, it's much easier to pick it up and scale from an outside perspective. So what about if you're starting from scratch, if you're starting just now? And that's what I'm also doing with the new brand of mine. And I think the way that I put it, and the best it is you have to grow slower. I'm really making sure that everything is set up and organized, so the products are very good, our messaging is there, our marketing team and systems are well oiled, and I'm not really just chasing like revenue and numbers and a lot of customers early on, because I want to make sure that each customer is going to stay with me on the long run. And so I don't need that many customers early on, like through ads pumping. You really cannot overlook those minor details because they are the foundation and they set up your brand. When you look at GRUNS and you just look at the ecosystem in e-commerce in general, you see that systems and operations is always going to be rewarded. And as competition gets increasingly hard and more competitive, these systems and operations are really going to make sure that you are good for the long run and you can actually grow. And eventually that's going to create more equity to you. And that's really what you got to be looking for. So systems and operations, making sure that you create relatability. Those three things are what's going to work in your favor and are going to determine your success at the end of the day.